Hey. So this one is the sound of registering in your mind a cash machine that is somewhat recontextualized and like a different purpose, it's like a different direction than ever before. It's something which is a way to try to activate collectively the philanthropy energy, global philanthropy energy grid. And what this entails, what this relates to, is something correlative to something that more or less already exists, which is the fact that all people have cash flow. They've already got cash flow, but to be able to make the cash flow that exists within their process work a little bit more efficiently, more effectively, to be able to work towards the better, greater global good, it's relevant to be able to acknowledge first that everybody's already on the global philanthropy energy grid, and so therefore when you transpose and you change the mindset and you change the placement, and you change the corresponding conceptualization of how life is in the current day and the present state of today, instead of thinking you're in a global web of a global economy that relates to global money and global business that's pinging across all different lands and places, across all different places and spaces in the world. Think of it now as you have this one common interest, this one common thing, this one common energy that has to do with the whole world. Similar to music, it's that sound of money. It's that sound of money, and it rings the same as music does to all people in the world. It's the same that money does to all people in the world as it does with music does. Is everybody understands it. That's the primary purpose. Is this the sound, the ring to it. And so the ring of money, the frequency of money in essence. And so that frequency of money, in essence, that connects all people, because the same purpose of value is transposed across different currencies in different countries, for example, in different currencies that are international also between assets, between country assets, between country foreign currencies, and at the same time cryptocurrencies at the same time. But those are more so international. But that is the sound of money. Ding 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 ding, and ching 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 ching. But regardless, the purpose of mentioning that is because it's something that can activate all people into using that money, that frequency, that energy into magic carpets, because in the philanthropy energy global grid, that all people are moved by this currency known as current, or that current that is also currency. Yeah, that means that money is also capable of being able to acknowledge the global philanthropy energy grid. It's also able to activate all people as entrepreneurs. It's able to activate the motion, the stream, in essence, that has to do with cash flow. Cash flow is like, it's somewhat of an indivisible current for their currency that's flowing through their life, in essence, and that currency is like a boat, it's like a river, it's like a ship, in essence. They can ride it, they can ride that energy to be able to activate themselves more efficiently on the global philanthropy energy grid. And the global philanthropy energy grid, it connects all human beings. It's also something that is, in essence, a way to be able to develop better processes and better good for all human beings. And what that relates to is being able to activate the motion of currency, to be able to ride the current. And so how it relates is being able to acknowledge paradigms within the essence of everybody's unique cash flow. It's already connected to the global philanthropy energy grid. So by acknowledging that all people, similar to listening to music, and that those energy airwaves can go across all of the world with the right radio frequencies, in essence, that it's the same with money frequencies, in essence, that has that antenna frequency to be able to connect all people through the philanthropy energy, global philanthropy energy grid, by being able to tune in to the antennas of the global philanthropy energy grid, by being able to acknowledge that the global philanthropy energy grid exists, that all the money energy, the sound of money energy is heard, is listened to, is acknowledged based upon the feeling that it resonates to and with all human beings in the world, meaning it has the same effect for all human beings in the world. In essence, it's got the ability to be able to enhance all people's lives in the world, and just that is because of the innate energy that is within monetary energy. And it's a little bit different than music. The experience of music is something that's typically audible, and that's contextual, actually. I can add to that a little bit later, the meaning and the purpose and the context to music in of itself. But on top of that, just currency. The currency has the element to be able to act like a magic carpet in one's life, to be able to activate the global philanthropy energy grid for all typical human beings, just to be able to acknowledge that they are connected to all other human beings by the currency in their pocket, by the cash flow specifically. So the cash flow that flows in and out of their lives, and going back in the last 5 years as well, to be able to analyze and just to be able to develop a motion depiction, to be able to depict motion by depicting the cash flow in your life for an individual for the last 5 years. For example, you look at every year, you look at every month, you look at every week, and you break it down a little bit, and that specific cash flow, it corresponds and correlates to the rest of the world at any given freeze frame time on that timeline, whatever the rate of energy, of frequency, of velocity, of volume, of cash flow. See how there's a correspondence of volume across music and business music, and volume meaning cash flow in the sense of like how much volume you had when you take a snapshot of any specific given day or time, or in the last 5 years, for example. So that cash flow has a volume, it has an energy, and it speaks across the whole entire world. Once you freeze frame that time, that moment, that instance, that when you make that picture of the past of time, you can compare that to the rest of the world, and that has to do with a correlative, corresponding, necessarily up in frequency iteration that is in essence an equation related to the rest of the world. It's just that simple. I mean, I was trying to go a little extended, but the primary essence is that it corresponds to the rest of the world, and a finance equation, like a snapshot, has to do with the whole world's equation. And so that paradigms are constantly being shifted by money. Money is a paradigm shifting vehicle, and at the same time it has the ability to be able to develop significant group mindset for all people in the world, to be able to develop significant paradigm shifting shifts and changes and significant flow shifts for the better for many people in the world that don't have a lot of things, to be able to improve their lives and their lifestyles and their means and what they have access to, by acknowledging that money itself is a vehicle. So therefore, it's also a paradigm. It's a vehicle and it's a paradigm. So meaning that everybody's got specific cash flow, even right now today, but you have to pause for 1 second to be able to analyze the depiction and the state of the rest of the world at the same time. So it's kind of like a graph in hindsight. When you look at it, you can see the stock price for a given situation or time and place, or time and date is what I meant. And so the same is true with the current day and tomorrow and 10 days from now. When you look at everything as opposed to just right now in the present, you got to take the energy motion out of the picture and push pause on the scenario to be able to analyze the data at any given time. And that paradigm that has shifted from what it was 2 seconds before that, to be able to acknowledge the motion to begin with. So you need to be able to take a few different samples to be able to develop samples that develop an acknowledgement of motion, blah, blah, blah. That's all I'm saying, is that motion exists. And so it's apparent that it exists based on the rest of the world. So the correlation is acknowledging cash flow as a magic carpet in the global philanthropy energy grid. Acknowledging cash flow as a magic carpet. It's like it's under your feet right now. When you look at the last 5 years or the last 5 days or the last 20 days, all of the cash flow that's under your feet that you're spending on different things necessarily, it goes in, it goes out. So it means you spend it on things, you have it, it comes in, it goes out. So you spend it on things. But when you push pause in the conceptualization, when you push pause on everything that you don't actually need in your life, realistically, that you spend money on necessarily, but you also acknowledge on the front end. So that's the back end. The back end is acknowledging the amount of things that you spend money on that you don't necessarily need in life necessarily. And then on the front end, when you realize that you have money to begin with, when you realize that money exists to begin with, when you realize the power, more or less, of the conceptualization of money, of what money is to begin with, the magistry that's within money to begin with, and that corresponds to not needing to then spend the money on the back end, because you acknowledge the magistry, the magic, the wizardry on the front end, in essence. And by doing that acknowledgement, in essence, it causes the interest, more or less, to try to step forward and be able to make investments, to be able to try to take investments for the purpose, the primary interest of trying to enhance what is more so a global philanthropy energy grid. And that is, in essence, a power. That's a powerful power, in essence, if everyone's able to step forward and be a character in everybody else's life, if they're able to acknowledge and take a place and a space and acknowledge that they're all connected on this interplanet process, more or less, that is the philanthropy energy, global philanthropy grid. And the money is the tool, it's the vehicle, it's the magic carpet within this philanthropy energy grid. It's the activation tool of the mindset to be able to be more of a conscious philanthropist, more of a conscious giver, more of a conscious human being, more of a conscious business person as a whole, because all businesses speak to philanthropy. And after all, if there's an activation of understanding that your money is a magic carpet, your cash flows more specifically, it's the flow that brings you through time, in essence, because when you're looking back on time, that is the journey that's traveled, more or less, is different spaces or places, that are paused in time, that create different data structures and sets to be able to develop a story from those data structures being able to come together and pile up to be able to develop the data story of what your cash flow is in hindsight, more or less. And then that also speaks to the future, and that has to do with investing as a whole. Just indicators of directions of different energy flowing in different directions, more or less. And so with that in mind, the flow itself, the cash flow in of itself, has to do with a person's magic carpet. A person's magic carpet has to do with the global philanthropy energy grid, because that's how we're all moving together as one. We're all moving together as one with a money system, but it's also as individuals. It's 8 billion individuals. It is not companies, corporations, and then groups of people, bodies of people, groups of friends, this, that, the other thing. It's 8 billion individuals. That's the bottom line, is that there's 8 billion different people, and all of them have an individual ability and responsibility, both of them at the same time ending in ability, meaning that there's that conceptual potential to be able to activate that potential, that awareness, that conceptual awareness potential, both of those, to be able to conceptually step forward and manifest and improve the current and the currency and the frequency of the currency, more so that current is flowing to all people in the world, all 8 billion other people in the world, all other 8 billion people in the world. It's just kind of necessary to look at the whole spectrum so that everybody can get a little bit of a taste. It's the purpose of the philanthropy energy grid, is to be able to get everybody a taste and be able to send nutrients to all human beings in the world. Because at the end of the day, when you think of things in terms of investing, in the way of investing, in the conception of investing, that all human beings are the most significant assets on the planet, that means that all these assets are going to waste. All these people in the world at the current day, at the current time, let all these other people die in the world because they're malnourished. They don't have water. They don't have food. And all these things. And so these miracles die. Every person in the world is an asset. Every 8 billion person in the world is an asset. They all have living, breathing parts and working parts that are magic. It's magic materials that are holding all these things together, that are making these facilities, that are making these cells function together, that are dependent on one another, more or less. These are all magic processes built in the middle of space, in the middle of infinity, functioning in a certain fashion. And everybody at the core of that magic process has other magic and magic properties that are unique as a snowflake, more or less. And unearthing that snowflake interesting process and property is what the edutainment industry is all about. It's edutaining through entertainment and education what is unique about every snowflake that's on the planet. And that is why the edutainment business is the inverse of the entertainment business. And it's also about real stories and real life. Real, R-I-L, real life, as opposed to fake stories in the entertainment business, which is just fake, but it has talented people that entertain people, and all those wasted attentions of watching people doing fake stories also causes wasted time, where it's wasted on other people that need real help in the world. And it's that much more productive by using the inverse of the entertainment industry and focusing on the edutainment industry for this reason, so that real problems can be solved in the real world, and the entertainment industry can die properly, because it has no purpose in this earth. Because it has no purpose, meaning if it's just fake stories and not real stories, then that means people's attention are going on things that is in garbage, as opposed to going into things that can be reinvested and into re-helping everybody else in the world and on the planet. And by using these magic carpets of monetary energy cash flow to be able to ride to different places of the world and push down borders and bring down borders, because so that borders are able to become useless in hopefully the face of AI more or less, in the face that AI, whatever AI is capable of, whatever AI is able to help us step into in the future, that AI is able to help us realize our best processes as human beings, to be able to acknowledge the value of every other human being in the world, and to be able to develop a somewhat of a social system where philanthropy is the primary base of valuing somebody's value in terms of money, correlation, correspondence, in essence, corresponding value, more or less. Like there is an element of that in today's business world. That is how it is. But systems give some people the disproportionate advantage because they discover systems, they leverage systems, they're technologists. But every single individual has the ability to be able to also leverage every other individual in the world, to be able to acknowledge the power, the internal power for every individual to be able to contribute to every other individual in the world. And it has to do with a familial mindset. It has to do with a familial mindset. To be able to use cash flow to be able to transport people as in the form of vehicles to different, in the form of energy to different other people in the world, to be able to use cash flow as magic carpets, because paradigms shift on a consistent basis with every single amount of dollar and cent that goes up and down. It's hard to explain in this short little podcast, more or less, but there's a significant up and down paradigm shifting with everyday cash flow. So we want to increase, obviously, people's paradigms that don't have any food, don't have any water, to be able to have those minimums and get minimum technology and things like this, so people can all get on a minimum basis of living in the global spectrum, in the global philanthropy energy grid. It's just kind of that simple. But after all, it's also about acknowledging that all people are assets, and also acknowledging the nature of everyone being able to add value by using their magic carpets in this game of cash flow, by acknowledging that money is magic, and money's magic properties cause people to not want to waste money, for example, and also to be able to use that magic to be able to push them along in the global philanthropy energy grid, which is a game grid, which is in essence like a game grid. It's like the combination of the movie Life is Beautiful, and also the combination of the movie The Hook. In the movie Hook with Peter Pan has to go back to Never Never Land to be able to realize that the food is in front of him the whole time. And once he realizes it, then he's able to eat. It's at the time in the movie The Hook with Dustin Hoffman, basically, that Peter Pan has to realize that the food is in front of him for him to be able to eat the food. And that type of magic is what the money magic is all about. People can get money on the front end, but they should not be wasting money. They should be putting it into their vehicles, which is powering them to be able to go around the world and develop volunteerism. And that is why it's a magic carpet, because that cash flow can flow people to give other cash flow and get other cash flow to other people in need in places with minimum resources around the world. And it's just that simple, by breaking down borders, breaking down the idea of borders as soon as possible, so that people all in Africa can not only utilize the goods and the resources and the space that can be leveraged in Africa, for example, but a new world can hopefully somehow form in Africa. We have to make room for the animals, we have to make room for the people, but we have to treat every 8 billion people like in a similar way, in a similar fashion way. We have to stop fighting, obviously, first in the world, stop all the fighting. That's an obvious mechanism, necessity. And then based upon the leveraging of all other human beings' positive asset energy, that is the primary focus, is the asset nature that's more significant among human beings than any other thing on the planet. There are no assets. Money energy and significant asset energy is not more significant among any other technology than it is with human beings. Human being energy is the most magical thing in this planet. And so that is what's got to be preserved. It's what's got to be fought for, is being able to acknowledge and realize the asset energy within all human beings, and develop the magic carpets underneath everybody's feet that has money, that has a lot of money, and has significantly different paradigms around the world. These significantly different paradigms of cash flow, it's cash flow energy under everybody's feet, and they have the ability to use that to power the vehicles within the philanthropy energy grid. But they have to see the philanthropy energy grid. They have to play the game like in the movie The Life is Beautiful. Basically, they have to play the game. They have to see the food like in the movie Robin Hood or Peter Pan, and they have to with Hook. with the movie Hook, like Peter Pan has to see the food to be able to eat the food, and people have to be able to see the game in a similar way in the movie Life is Beautiful, to be able to play the game, to know that money is a vehicle that's underneath their feet, and let that vehicle be able to sweep them. And let that vehicle be able to sweep them across the world, across the whole entire world, to play the game of voluntourism, and basically play the game in a similar way that the game is played in the movie Life is Beautiful, so that they switch on their vehicles and they switch on their cash flow to serve the purposes, to be able to serve the people and the energy that is the most significant in the world, and also asset energy, which is people, human energy, across every single continent, across every single country, across every single city, so that the world is able to take care of the world's people. So that the world is able to take care of the world's people every single day going forward. Thanks again. That's all for now. Bye. Thanks again, DINKY Tech. Bye. Peace. Bye.